Okay, quick video for A-pillar, or I guess it's called the A-pillar water leak. So I have, when I pour water up here, in my sunroof drain, it comes down here and it leaks out somewhere right at the bottom. As you can see, there's a little wet spot. I went through a car wash and I saw it, and it leaks down here and then down onto the carpet. So first things first, I used just a tiny little screwdriver like this, popped the little airbag cover, the thing that says airbag, popped it off and kind of pried it up, and then we got a Allen key in there. Allen key size is 3. Once you get the Allen key off, you basically have to just don't pull but slide up towards the roof and it'll come right off. Mine got crunched up a little bit, as you can see, some fractures. Might replace this down the line, but this is obviously very brittle plastic. Just be careful with that and be careful when putting it back on. The rivets should stay in the pillar. Okay, so after pouring water in, once I had the pillar off, the water started leaking from here, and then I see a wet spot here, and it was dripping. So there's some sort of tube right here that's leaking. So I can kind of see the leak when I pull the light out, and when I kind of pull this back, but I need more space to fix it. So for this handle, to remove the handle, as you can see the little notch up there, I just stuck a flathead in there, and then you got 2 Torx screws, 225s, and I'm assuming the screws on here are also T25. Yeah, so T25 all around. I'm going to pull off the visor, pull off the handle, and see what I can see. Once you undo the visor, you got to rotate the visor out to get the inside screw. You have a little connector here. Just be careful not to rip any wires. I think I'm going to have to get a little... Oh, there it goes. It just pops right off. So that's out of the way. And then if you'd like, you can take this off as well. Same thing. Should pop right off. And then you can have more access, hopefully. Just to get more room for myself, I also popped off the little clip for the visor. It's a T20 for this one. You pop off this little cover right here, and it's right in there, T20, and then you just pull it right down. So as you can see, there's like a plate of some sort right there, and that's where my water's leaking from. Right there, that tube, that's where the drain is, and that metal plate is where the leak is coming from. I'm not sure why it's leaking in between, but I'm going to investigate further. Okay, so here's how far I had to get with this. So on the driver's side, I removed the clip for the visor. That center console with the controls for the sunroof and stuff, there's not much I had to do there. Tilted down the mirror, and then I went above with this plastic pry tool and kind of pulled the seal back, as you can see on the sunroof. So the seal is pulled back, and so that way I had enough room to tilt the entire the top part down. And so we have screws in here holding that metal bracket. That bracket down there somewhere goes to like the motor controls for the sunroof, and the bolts holding this bracket in are T20s. So I pulled off, looks like 4 or 5 bolts, and so I was able to pour water in and kind of see exactly where it's leaking from. So from what I saw, it's leaking like literally right here. This is the main spot, and if we go from the top, it's kind of like right here somewhere. Like, I don't know if it's because there's a bolt hole there or what the issue is, but I'm gonna see if I can pour some water in, see if I can show an example of where the water's coming from. Let's see. Okay. So I'm pouring the water in now, and then as you can see, that's where it's coming from. I'm not sure why it's leaking from there. It's kind of hard to see where it's coming from, but it's basically right about here is where it's coming from. Right about there at the very edge. So I think what we're trying to do is see if I can get an angle on it to see what I can see inside of it. And then I'm going to probably put some sealant over that spot just so it can stop leaking. I don't think that needs to be an open hole. So what I found was the only time I was getting leaks through those weird spots was when I had water poured onto the top of the rail, or right here where the whatever windbreaker is hinged. Water is not supposed to go on these areas when the sunroof is closed. And what I found was I had water pooling up at the drain, and it must have been overflowing once in the car wash and getting on top of these rails, pouring through these areas that actually aren't sealed because they're not supposed to be sealed, because they're not supposed to get water on them. And those areas, once they got water on them, of course they're going to pour in. Even if you look under here, like, this is not sealed, like all the way, it's kind of hard to get an angle, but all the way up here you have a gap. So if water got past this wall, it would just pour into your cab because it's supposed to drain. That's why you have these drains in the corners down there. And what I found was I had water pooling up here, so I went below, right behind the passenger wheel, pulled off these two plastic rivets. You can literally unscrew them by hand. You reach in there and you feel around and you're gonna pull this drain plug off. This drain plug is designed to be tight for a reason. You're not supposed to have debris in there. I had some debris and it was leaking out, but it was leaking out super slow, so that was my problem. But I guess you could have other issues with the, it's possible that this process could help you if you have problems with, for example, this tube right here that goes from the drain plug to the outside drain, or sorry, drain hole to the outside drain. You could have issues there, cracking or dryness, so this process would work for that. But other than that, I mean, my leaks aren't related to any flaws. It was just a dirty drain pipe. I took some air and tried blowing it through a little bit. I don't think it's going to help a whole lot. I think the drain plug itself is the main issue, and then you can flush it out with water. But that's what I'm going to do. Anyways, thanks for watching.